Today, we are playing in the Magic Online Creator Showdown. This is a little bit of a different structure than most tournaments. It's 6 rounds, and you get prizes based on your record, not your placing necessarily, although, of course, those two things are pretty heavily correlated. If we go 6-0, we get like $1,200, which is awesome. If we go 5-1, we get like $700. And then 4-1 has a bunch of Magic Online prizes and nothing for 3-3 or worse. I decided to play the Abzan Severance Priest Birthing Ritual deck. This is a deck that I think went a little under the radar as far as Dragonstorm decks go. I'm pretty sure we trophied with it on the Daybreak account. It was really impressive. It was a list I liked a lot. Severance Priest was great. And I also think this deck is pretty good against both Boros and Prowess. In addition, to have a lot of equity against all of the top combo decks in the format, which is a pretty good place to be. I made a couple small changes to the sideboard. Ended up adding the third Ouphe because I figured there's going to be maybe more Mox Opal decks than usual at this event. And I did the third Skyclave, third Skyclave to be a little bit better against the Prowess decks. Thank you everybody for joining me here on this Saturday. Snap keeping this. I don't know what Bob is on. Did you see Ginger played against Canister in the challenge yesterday? Canister kept a 0 lander with Titan. Didn't play the little land until turn 3, 1, turn 4. I did not see that. No, that's funny. Oh, so probably like a rock style Abzan list. Or, sorry, green-black list. Let's get some mana acceleration going this turn. I already have the Backstreets in my hand. Got a pretty green heavy draw, so I think I'm going to go for the forest here. If I draw Severance Priest next turn, it's a little bit awkward to have not gotten the black source, but I think it'll probably be fine. Oh, baby. Y'all weren't kidding, huh? I graveyard that. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's play a Haywire Mite so that we have max power here. Or, sorry, Kitty's Blessing. I'll see your Tarmogoyf and I'll raise you 2 Ocelot Prides and a Haywire Mite. Alright. So our opponent's playing Urza Saga in their deck because they have Haywire Mite. They're playing Spy Master's Vault, which could just be a utility land, but like would you play? It's usually a Warren Soul Trader combo card. Now, would you play Tarmogoyf in your Warren Soul Trader deck? I don't know. We could bring in Sanctifier en-Vec just in case, as a way to like shrink Nethergoyfs, exile Nethergoyfs, hedge against the Soul Trader combo, while they're also just, protection from black. I do think, I'm probably going to go down 2 Phantoms. Let's go down maybe 2 Phantoms, and Severance Priests are really good in general. They are worse in these kind of matchups. I think I'll go down to Emperor. To keep the same curve, which is nice. Although I probably want the 2 Skyclaves, so maybe 2 Skyclaves over 2 Priests. Doesn't Bob usually play Golgari Rock Piles? That's what people say, but I'm gonna just try to. I'm just gonna try to sideboard as if this was an opponent I didn't have any info on like that, because I don't really. It's you can also fall into a trap of, oh, this person usually does this, and then there's not doing that, and then you get the think you sideboard wrong. Well, hopefully I'm right about the Soul Trader stuff. And again, it's just like how often are you playing Spy Master's Vault without Warren Soul Trader? Maybe sometimes. But I think I've I don't think I've ever seen that. Okay, turn 1 Inquisition. And also this card just might be good against them anyways. They mulled a 6 on the play, which is going to be bad news for them probably. Takes a Phantom. Good draw. Fatal Push. Y'all know I'm a long-time hater of that card. Yeah, I do not care if our opponent spends their turn activating Elvish Reclaimer for an Urza Saga. I want to get this down underneath a discard spell, and then next turn go Eternal Witness, pick something up. Good chance the Phantom just like either answer a Saga or ramp us. I think it's just a bit more value than the Guide of Souls here. Oh no, am I going to get Witherbloom commanded? Amazing. Oh, no. It is the Elvish Reclaimer activation. Okay, then plays a Golgari from. I played Team of Battlecry with Hellkites yesterday. I lost every match. I had to mulligan to 4 times in 3 matches. Felt like the deck just fell apart when they killed the Battlecry Trailblazer. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I will say, if you mulligan to 4 times in 3 matches, it almost doesn't matter what you're playing. You're gonna have a bad night probably. But I'm sorry you had a bad experience. So we can get Overgrown Tomb and have access to Emperor of Bones, but I think I'm just more interested in having access to Double White. And then if I get the White Orchid Phantom, I can get black mana with the Phantom if I am in need of that. Alright, so we have access to a Haywire Mite, we have access to a Guide of Souls, and that's it. Not honestly very good options, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Haywire Mite. They got the Saga in play, and it just kind of lines up well with my turn where I can go like Phantom, either the Rot Farm or my Flagstones and kill this. Kind of depends on if they like leave this up or not. I guess it also depends if they Thoughtseize my Phantom. Thingamaboo with the 2 years. Thank you, welcome back. Is Severance Priest really in this deck? Yeah, we have 4 of the main. We did cut a couple copies in this Rock matchup, but I don't know if you've seen this list. We've trophied with it. It's been very impressive. It's been an awesome deck. We had a challenge with it where we lost to Broodskale twice, and then we lost to Mill in the last round. But like the deck was like stomping the Boros and Eldrazi in the rest of the tournament, so it was like a really weird event. Leaves of the 5 months. Thank you, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. What's on the line for this event? So 6-0, you get, I think it's $1,200, maybe like $1,250, somewhere in that range. And then if you go 4-1, you get like $700. And then 4. So 5-1 is 700. 3 wins is. Oh, that was really good. Turn. 3 wins or 4 wins is Magic Online prizes and nothing for 3 wins or less. Sorry for the confusion. I can't get the Gearhulk. I think I'm not going to get the Ocelot Pride either. And then I'm going to go ahead and Solitude the Reclaimer so they can't sack the Saga in response to the Saga trigger. You win, Elvish Reclaimer. You win this time. If I saw my Witness in play to get that Gearhulk, that would have been really nice. See if they have a Haywire Mite brought in. They do have the Haywire Mite. That's very nice for them too. So if we could draw a Black Source for the Emperor, we're in good shape. We have a lot of good spells in our top decks. Another Saga is a good pickup for them. Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously it was awkward where I needed to prioritize either black or double white, and I had more double white at the time, with the ability to get black if I targeted my Flagstones. They are Witherbloom commanding, but they return an Urza Saga with it, which is pretty good. They make a token and they can attack with this construct. We're running out of time to pick up our Black Source, although we seem to find it in time. So, am I going to Severance Priest, or am I think I should Severance Priest this turn. I do think their last card is very likely to be a spell. And the Priest is just not going to do much after this, and the Death Touch body is pretty good, yeah. Alright, that worked out pretty well. How do you think the Grixis Colorless felt? Do you think it can be the Moxen deck? Do you think it's powerful enough to win a challenge tournament? I thought it was good. I would play it in a tournament. As far as the Moxen deck, I don't think that is going to be the case, no. But it was a good Moxen deck. I would play it more. So they get a Nile Spellbomb here, which is very good against my Emperor of Bones in hand. And then they top deck an Inquisition, also good against my Emperor of Bones. So we're going to need like a Gearhulk off the top. I'm going to go ahead and block this, take 4 down to 7. Likely going to game 3. All right. So seeing that they are not soul trading and they're pretty lands focused, let's get all the phantoms back in. I want to play a Collector Ouphe and then probably just 2 Emperors if they're going to have... I guess it's hard to say how much graveyard hate they have. A 2/2 lost to Affinity and Blood Moon Prizzy, one against Eldrazi and Kalia. Sounds like a fun F&M. I'm feeling fine today. How are you feeling, Articuno? Yeah, I think just the 1 Ouphe. Our Birthing Ritual hits were pretty bad that game. What did you give Dingo's Catcher Energyless? I haven't seen it. But if you want to send a link, I could take a look. Okay, on the play. Definitely clicking the keep button, just thinking a little bit about sequencing, but I'll do this. When is the next showcase you play? I mean, I have no idea. This is the second one I've played in, and they haven't been modern for a long time, so I just don't play them if they're not modern, and I will, if they're modern, I'll consider it if I'm free, so it's just... Oh, the next showcase. I thought it was about this. Yeah, I also don't know. It's just usually if I'm available the weekend, I stream it, and if I'm not, I'm not, and I've been not available that many weekends lately, unfortunately. It looks like Bob is in the tank on if they want to keep their 7. Does keep the 7. Has a Mishra's Bauble. Targets themselves. Might be in a situation where you have like a 1-land discard spell hand and a fetch land, and you see a land on top, and you're like, do I want to play the discard spell or do I want to risk it? And that seems to not be the case. I'm happy enough with this start though. Craxus Bauble. Sees a Flagstones. We'll play that Flagstones. Especially because if we hit a Phantom, we want to be able to just target the Flagstones here. Okay, turn this into a Pride or put another guide into play. Putting another guide into play can be good for Eternal Witness. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Obviously not a huge deal. Now, I'm very excited that we have a 3-drop in our hand where we could maybe hit a Gearhulk, which is just so game-ending in these kind of matchups. Although, of course, for us to really want to play the Skyclave, our opponent's going to need to cast a spell here, probably. Or, a permanent to target. Even, like... If they Fatal Push the Guide of Souls, they tap out of the Spell Bomb and we can Skyclave the Spell Bomb. Maybe proactively Skyclaving the Spell Bomb is good anyways because of Eternal Witness. I did try Null Drifter in Temur Battlecrier. I don't think it's better than Hellkite, but you can give it a go. It was definitely very fun sometimes. Okay, they do take the Skyclave after some consideration here. I don't have an untapped green source. Nor is the Witness that exciting against the Nile Spellbomb, but I'm glad it's a spell, I guess. I guess I'm going to graveyard this. It's going to be a little awkward that I'm only going to have 1 Guide of Souls left in my deck, maybe? Not sure. I'm going to do this, though. I'm going to get a Forest in case I want to double green spell. Like if I draw another Birthing Ritual next turn. Not super likely. Graveyard that. Got 6 cards in their hand. This has been a very weird game so far. They have Witherbloom Command. Witherbloom Command's great here. And they find a land also. Okay, so I'm happy to draw something that doesn't just play really hard into the onboard Spell Bomb. This might get Fatal Pushed, but if they Fatal Push it in response to the trigger, then they don't get the token. Should be fine. Seems like that's what they're thinking about here. So we get a nice 2-for-1. Interesting hand. So I want to break up Tarmogoyf Shadow Spear, maybe. I guess I do have the Witch Enchanter. I think I just have to take the Goyf. The Deluge, like their life total is getting pretty pressured here, and I can pretty meaningfully play around it, especially if them drawing this is pretty nice. Well, they main phase the Spellbomb. Okay, that's good for me too. So their hand right now is Shadow Spear, Toxic Deluge, Mystery card. That Mystery card seems to not be a land, because if it was a land, they would have used it already. Now they have one land in their graveyard. Let's just chill, I guess. I guess they might be able to get these up to 3-4, which could be a problem. Okay, so we don't want to Ephemerate in response because we want to be able to Eternal Witness the Ephemerate. Their hand is Deluge, Shadow Spear. This could have been the spell they just drew. So they take the Witness, which is not too surprising here, of course. And they get this up to 3-4. Yeah, and I guess I'm not too surprised to see them getting this, but should I just kill Stone Rain this? I don't know how much sense that makes. Yeah, I don't think that makes enough sense. Let's just let this happen. Like, if they play the Shadow Spear, we just have the Switch Enchanter. So maybe they won't play the Shadow Spear. Oh my gosh, I was F6'd. Sorry about that. Feels kind of bad. Feels really bad. Sorry about that. I'm out of Surveil lands too. Kind of a frustrating game. Doesn't go for the Shadow Spear. And a Shadow Spear Deluge Mystery card. Deluge X equals 2. Well, game is now unfrustrating. I think we're one short of Kitty's Blessing, right? 6, 7, 8, 9... Oh, 10? Their hand is Shadow Spear Mystery card. Good top deck. Another Deluge doesn't do anything. With the return of the new Harmonized Finale Devastation, do you plan to return to the old Devoted Druid? I've tried to build it a couple times. I might get it done at some point. I wouldn't hold your breath. Alright, Bob gives us the GGs. Alright, so I'm assuming Gab is either playing an Affinity variant or Control. If it's Affinity, this hand's pretty dang good. If it's Control, this hand is not. I think it just in the blind on the draw I'm going to be keeping. Yeah, there's Mockingbird, that's true. Yeah, Slick Shot, although I doubt you ever play this with Slick Shot. I don't believe it's open deck list. At least on the site they're hosting this on, I don't see a deck list. It's kind of weird that it wouldn't be, right? Because it's like everybody's streaming, but I guess, you know, honor system. Gab had a spreadsheet with all the deck lists. Well, I guess we're handicapping ourselves. I'm going to click the keep button. Maybe I've missed something. Oh, it's in the Discord. Oh, Gab is playing Living End. Okay. Here's Gab's list. Two basics. I think I'm actually just going to survey. I probably shouldn't have done this main phase, but... Hitting creatures in the yard is pretty valuable, of course. One Halo Forager. So the sideboard, I've got 3 Orim's Chants. And the Sanctifiers, they hit the Overlords, the Street Wraiths. And that stops Halo Forager from flashing back Living End. It's not great. Keeps a card on top. I'd love to draw a land. We draw the land. It's not a white source, which kind of stinks. I think this is the only other non... Besides the Boseiju and the Forest, these are the only 3 non-white sources. Alright. Playing a Haywire Mite. We're doing pretty good if Gab just Livingins next turn and doesn't have a Subtlety for my Solitude. But I'm not doing a very good job of putting much pressure on our opponent here. Does the winner think get an avatar like Mars? It's a cash prize. Although that would be cool. Thanks, Darth Clyde, with 16. To see if I've come to bargain. Graveyard's a Curator, Graveyard's a Living End. Yeah, this is match 2, game 1. It's a lot. Although I can exile 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to dodge Subtlety. The more things change, the more they stay the same, huh? So we're going to 22 Living End resolves. There's a lot of creatures in play, but I can go Solitude, Ephemerate, and exile. Maybe just start off with both Curators to stop any more library manipulation. And I can Ephemerate again next turn. If I had another white source, this would be way better to play around. Force of Negation a bit better. All right. Down a game. I might have mulliganed if I had known the matchup and known that this was an open decklist event, but I got no one to blame besides myself for that. I do think I want to bring in the Vindicates on the play, maybe not on the draw. I have Gab's list now. Might bring in this Awaken the Honor Dead. We'll almost definitely bring in these Harbingers, Harvesters of Misery, so it might be important to have some Sanctifiers. Although Sanctifier, it doesn't die to the cycle. Is on only 2 basics, so the Phantoms are kind of interesting to me. I'm kind of interested in not playing Guide or Pride. They're just so bad against the Living End plan, but we're probably gonna have to play some amount of them. Maybe a 2-2 split. Now, Ormshant's really good against the Living End now that they don't have Violent Outburst to protect it with Force of Negation and no Grief to like take it from your hand. But we only got 3 of them. But we can also like Witness Loop them. Severance Priest should be pretty good. Emperor Bones is nice. I think we're supposed to wait until after Living End so they don't end up with a Subtlety. I think we're supposed to go for the high upside line there. Like if they have Subtlety, they still get to Subtlety the Solitude. And that's like a really bad position for us. So I don't know. I think like we're not very likely to win that game if they have Subtlety either way. So I just don't think you're supposed to play around it. Could be wrong. We're definitely not beating Subtlety plus Force. There was no difference for us before versus after. Oh right, of course, because we get to scam it with the Ephemerate. Sorry about that. For some reason, I wasn't thinking that was something that... I did have the white up to Ephemerate. We were going to lose that game anyways, but yeah, no, you're right. New Landfall, Double, or Bird. What is a double? So it's actually kind of close. We get to Vindicate turn 3 on the play, and then we can set up for Eternal Witness, Vindicate, Ephemerate, And we also have double surveil, looking to put stuff in the graveyard for value. I think I'm actually going to keep. Maybe just... It's certainly on the border, I think, of like a keep versus mulligan. But I think it's going to be in the keep range for me here. Another thing, too, is like there's only 3 Shardless agents in the deck, so it's just like a lot less likely that the Living In deck has it on turn 3. Alright, well, Gab thinks about the 6-card hand. Let's take a look at this bird. 3 mana, 3/2. Look at the top card of your library at any time. Play lands and cast bird spells from the top of your library. If a land or bird you control entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability to a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. So it doubles the damage of this other card we've seen. I don't think it will ever do anything with Kishless Skimmer. It's a cool card. We'll have to see if there's more, like, if there's just like a new bird modern deck, I guess. It'll be very fun if Birds of Paradise ends up, like, seeing play as an enabler in those kind of decks. Rooster 13, Severance Priest today, hell yeah. Does it double Amulet triggers? It has to be of a bird. I don't think Amulet of Vigor is a bird. Alright, Gab's been thinking about 2 minutes on this mulligan to 6. Oh, bird or land. Okay, I missed that. Yeah, it does double Amulet triggers. Okay, don't need another Ephemerate. It's a good pickup. Grabs a breeding pool. Now, I do think Gab is going to be kind of light on Force of Negations game 2. So I'm pretty likely to just want to lead on the Vindicate next turn. Although I guess with the mana I have at the moment, I'm not going to be able to go Severance Priest with Ephemerate up. So that's kind of an interesting point. They mill over Endurance, Wraith, Generous Ent. What's wrong with taking the Backstreets? Taking the Street Wraith is interesting. I'm not sure exactly if that means Gab's digging for a land. This lets me go Priest with Ephemerate up next turn. This turn, I'm just going to fire off this Vindicate. I think I'm going after the Breeding Pool. There's like a good amount of double blue cards. Cycles a Wraith. New Stoneforge Cloud. 2 mana, 2/1. Inner search for an equipment as long as it's equipped. If a triggered ability of Cloud or commit triggers an additional time. Okay, that's interesting phrasing. Okay, we really need this Priest to resolve. Or we need Priest to resolve and then no untap land, Shardless Agent. Nice. I could Ephemerate in response to this trigger pretty easy. Gab has did not force a negation last turn. It does have 2 Dismembers, so I guess we'll play around Dismember and not Ephemerate now. Yeah, Cloud looks pretty good. Cloud is probably better than Stoneforge Mystic, just because, like, in the builds of Stoneforge I've been playing, you just don't activate Mystic basically ever. It does have 1 toughness. Okay, and our opponent does have 1 Dismember, so let's take the Dismember and then just main phase the Ephemerate on the Priest to take the Shardless Agent. Yeah, bringing Priest before ETB exiles the card, but we wanted to play around the Dismember. Now Gab, with nothing available to do, thinks a little bit on the fetch. My hero. Never changes. Could evoke the Endurance, I guess. This Overlord is ticking down, although we should have plenty of answers to it, especially if we draw a land and can hold the Boseiju in hand. So Gab is missing a land again. I will be rebounding the Ephemerate on the Priest. I have a couple 3/3s over there. 2 Endurance, 2 Flare of Denial, and a Halo Forager. I'll take the Halo Forager, I guess. That card's been kind of the new hotness, huh? So this turn is just actually very, very safe. I'm going to be witnessing back Ephemerate and then trying to do Ephemerate Vindicate loop-de-doops. Yeah, and then if this gets the Endurance, that's fine. Now the hand is just 2 Flare of Denials. We've got Birthing Ritual going. We've got a Solitude in our hand for this Overlord of these tokens. Feeling pretty good. I could Witch Enchanter the Overlord right now. Does that make sense? I think that makes enough sense. And it's nice here that my opponent needs to draw land plus Charlotte's Agent. Alright, so I'm going to take 3 down to 14. And is 2 Flares and a Mystery card. Draws a Takanuma, so can't hold up the Hardcast Flare. Now this is kind of a weird draw. It's kind of a weird draw. Where I would want to cast the Solitude, but it's just more important to not lose to the top deck Agent, I think. Okay, so I can either get Emperor of Bones or I can get a Solitude. I think I'm just going to get a Solitude so I can start attacking and blocking soon. Takes a lot of pressure off the Solitude in my hand too, of course. And next turn I can just... yeah, we'll go ahead and just fire this off end of turn. And if this resolves, they go to 15, and then it's a 2-turn clock with us having Orim's Chant in our hand, which is going to be pretty good. Alright, so trigger the Birthing Ritual. I guess we can try to get a little bit more info on what the hand is. Sideboard plans and stuff. Might have been just fine to upkeep the Chant. Alright, so Gab's dead on board. Let's take a look at Tifa. 2 mana, 1/2 trample. Whenever a land enters, double the power. So just base fetch land 2, then 4. That's pretty interesting. If you buff it like by that card looks like very fun to like try to think about it and figure out. Okay, so we're going to game 3. I'll check revealed cards. Agent, Curator, Overlord, Curator, Dismember, Int, Wraith, Watergrave, Subtlety, Agent, Delta, Subtlety, Misty, Hedgemates, Steamcore Scholar, Harvester, Awaken the Honored Dead. They did bring it in. Misty Rainforest. All right, game 3. I think I'm not cutting the Vindicates. Yeah, scale up into scale up does go pretty hard, huh? Well, I'm not going to mulligan this hand. This hand's pretty nice. Do need some mana. Gab is thinking about his 7. Goes to 6 again. So nice. Like, the Grief and Violent Outburst were so... so difficult to deal with. Basic account is 2. So we do also have this pretty cohesive land destruction plan in our hand here. I found out after I kept my hand in match 2 that this was an open decklist event. Looks like only 1 Titan player today. In the hands of Def Jad. A bunch of Boros energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hopefully we can play against that some. Only 3 Frog. That's our best matchup. 2 Mill. 1 Domain Gorios, 1 Esper Gorios. We played against the Golgari mid-range last round. Only 2 Gruul Eldrazi. 4 Prowess, 1 Jeskai Affinity, 3 Jeskai Narset. It's cool. 1 Jeskai Urza, 1 Kethis, 2 Living End, 2 Blue Belcher, 2 Brood Scale, 1 Mono Green Eldrazi, 3 Mono Green Tron, 4 Orzhov midrange, 1 Rakdos Cookbook, 1 Ruby Storm, 1 Simic Eldrazi, 2 Temur Eldrazi, and 1 Domain Zoo. Gab does eventually keep 6 cards. I'm going to go and graveyard this Birthing Ritual. We need some lands. Need like 1 land, so I can go Phantom into Ephemerate end of turn, and then hold up the Chant. Seems pretty healthy from a meta perspective. Yeah, I mean, it is a creator event, so you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but I agree. Okay, did not want to see this Overlord. Picks up a Wraith or a Genesis. All 4 Street Wraiths in the graveyard here. Does return a Wraith. Cycles the Wraith main phase. Takes this down to 4. Yeah, if I just don't find the land, we're going to be in bad shape. But if I draw a white source next turn specifically, I'm going to blow up all of Gab's lands. We even have the Vindicates for both Vindicates for both basics, holding up the Orim's Chant the whole time. Obviously, my Chant is pretty telegraphed. Second Overlord would be pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Finds a Subtlety also. Also a Shardless Agent. Yeah, land would be so nice. Basically nothing else. I mean, Solitude could be a good pickup to like clean up the Overlords eventually. Does pick up a Subtlety instead of an Agent. Takes these down, takes this down. We draw an Emperor of Bones, unfortunately. Feels pretty damn bad on the draw with the Surveil. If you're on the play, also, we could have just played the Phantom last turn and it wouldn't have been a big problem. Might have another shot here, although at this point, Hardcast Subtlety's up, and that's going to be a huge problem too. I think I have to cast this. And I need to decide if I'm keeping this on top or not. I think the answer is going to have to be a resounding not. Is Maelstrom Pulse more synergistic than Vindicate with the ability to wipe priest tokens? You want to target lands. Targeting lands is like the main reason you're playing this card in the first place. Maybe gonna cast a Curator. I haven't played against Gab in a long time. I forgot what it's like. Yeah, sorry for the boring game. Hand looked really nice at the start and did not pan out very well. We can still draw a Solitude and be pretty in this game. I have cost 0 spells this game. Is that on board? Alright, sorry for the boring one. 1-1, so we're dead for the big cash prize. We can still get the good size cash prize. Okay, on the play. Mulliganing our 7. Neither of those cards are very good, of course. And I could have kept the Haywire Mite to just get another trigger next turn on the Guide of Souls, but I feel like it's just going to end up being better to have the slightly higher card quality card, even if it's also not very good. And the Phantom is going to have some equity. Opponent's on 3 basics, 2 Darkslick Shores, 18 or 20 lands, including the 2 Sink into the Stupor. And we did mulligan on the play, which is not exactly usually where you want to be in these kind of matchups. A little bit scared of a Bowmaster. I'm going to lead on the Phantom, I suppose. That's great. Now, I want to prioritize getting my Ocelot Pride out of Bowmaster range, so I'm going to go ahead and cast this Haywire Mite. Now, the Graveyard Hate's not nearly as effective against Claudio's build here because he's on triple Kaito. So it might Kaito be this turn, although it wouldn't really be very good. Yeah. Spends 2 mana to main phase Crack a Clue. Maybe has land Preordain, although you would think you would cast the Preordain first. Dirty Shoes, the 17 months. Calzone versus Stromboli. I'll have to get back to you on that, although I'm not eating a lot of either these days, I tell you what. Okay, well, let's just go to combat since we're not going to be getting the Emperor. Oh, I guess maybe exiling the counterspell was good. Shouldn't be a big difference because they're not playing Murktide or Oculus. I might also exile Haywire Mite the Clue token. So we're going to be 1 short of Kitty's Blessing. Yeah, let's not, so I could just have lethal through a removal spell. If they like flip crack two clue tokens and flip Tamio, that's going to be okay. Plays a Kaito. Are they not dead on board? I guess they replay Tamio. Tap this. Draws a card? Well, this isn't flip Tamio, right? This is only the second card. It's already played a land for turn. Yeah, it was just dead on board as soon as he took that action. That was weird. Okay, obviously just tough spot either way. So, you know what's kind of interesting is Solitude not as good against this build. No Murktide, no Oculus. Does still have Frog. Has Sideboard Graveyard Trespasser. You could never Solitude a Kaito. Does have what, Harbinger? I don't know if Harbinger's staying in. I guess I want the Skyclaves. Don't think the Sanctifiers do very much. But they may just be better than the Phantoms. I do like that Phantom can block a Flying Frog. That does feel relevant kind of often. Obviously, it can also ramp us with Flagstones, and it's really nice when that happens. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Just into Skyclave, keep in 2 Phantoms. Mulligan this no green mana, turn a Witness draw, I guess. Let's put back the Ephemerate. I'm going to prioritize getting a basic Plains, maybe. Maybe not in turn 1. But just being kind of resilient to the Harbinger seems like something I'm interested in doing. I might end up mana screwing myself if I need black mana, I guess. Okay, now I have Ephemerate, Solitude. I get Solitude, an Oculus. Sorry, a Harbinger. I'm going to play this main phase 1, so if Claudio counters it, then we can attack without fear of Bowmaster. Fatal Push, anyways. Okay, a white card would be nice, although I guess I can't go Solitude, Ephemerate, pay for Ward, and play the Birthing Ritual. So I did draw a white card. So my options are to go Birthing Ritual, Ocelot Pride, or Solitude, Ephemerate, discard the Marsh Flats, and just have Birthing Ritual for next turn. I think I'm going to do that. And if my opponent has a Subtlety, they have a Subtlety. Plays a Surveil Lamb. 2 cards, 2 clues. If we can resolve this Birthing Ritual, we don't really care, honestly, how many clue tokens are over there. I think I'm gonna prioritize attacking instead of putting that in the yard for a future Eternal Witness. This is kind of close. Does have the counter spell, which is bad for us. Now we're pretty behind. It's a nice draw. Has a subtlety. Ugh. Main phase Hexaclue, pretty dang fast. Not exiling the Trespasser was an interesting line. This Trespasser? Confused. Then you could play Ritual also. So you just wanted to go Solitude, Tamio? Maybe I'm a little confused what you're saying. Yeah, we could have just played Birthing Ritual, Ocelot Pride, maybe. That might have been better, like, just very hard to lose when you have Birthing Ritual and play against Dimir. Could have had Force of Negation, too, although Force also good against the Ephemerate. We get Kaito'd. Maybe I should have Ephemerated when attacks are declared. Probably going to game 3. Let's see if they've got another counter spell. I guess. Yeah, I want to do this main phase 1 because of Bowmasters. Does have a subtlety in their hand that we know about, of course. Does pitch the subtlety. I'm going to keep this Severance Priest on top. I do think we're going to get Bowmastered, though. Yeah. Certainly doesn't seem like a very easy game to crawl out of here. Two cards on the top. There's a frog, which I might be able to Solitude. Probably should be casting the Preordain before the frogs. It's kind of a minor thing. Then probably not cast the frog at all if this is happening. Obviously, we're still probably going to lose. Does seem like this is likely to resolve. Oh, maybe they wanted to get Fatal Push on mine? It's kind of interesting. Surely that's not why you'd play the frog there. Plays a Bowmaster. Then Fatal Pushes. Has one card in the hand. It's a Path of Peril. Okay. I mean, this game is maybe winnable. The Kaito is just going to be so hard still to beat, but... We could top deck a Skyclave for the Kaito. We could top deck Birthing Ritual into Skyclave. We could turn a Witness Ephemerate, maybe. We could go to game 3. I'm going to pick that option. Yeah, I think we'll just run it back. Oh, sorry, I should have not this Haywire Mite in. Yeah, maybe the Birthing Ritual, Ocelot Pride line would have won. We're pretty behind on board. I'm a bit more used to like more proactively going for Solitude Ephemerate in this matchup, but I'm a little less experienced at playing around Trespasser in this matchup. Not sure. I am mulliganing again. I think we mulliganed every game. We're gonna probably the best hand we've had so far this match. How's living in? We're 2-0 in our league at the moment. Takes the priest. It's a pretty awkward draw. I guess we would keep a land on top if we saw a land. Not anymore that they played the frog, probably. Certainly feels very bad, this game. It's tough to mulligan all 3 games of this matchup, too. I think I'm kind of down make them discard a card, and they don't get to draw a card. Oh wow, they're down 2. I guess they have a Bowmaster? Trespassers, they have Subtlety? Am I just going to resolve Gearhulk? I mean, that certainly is like the way we bounce back here. It's a pretty good top deck too. A little bit worse with the Trespasser in play, I guess. They do have the Subtlety. Well, we'll just put this on top, I guess. What a weird game. So I'm taking 4. They're drawing a card. All right. Down to 6. Oh, the Flagstones is so awkward here too, because I want to be able to, like, at the very least instant speed the Solitude so I can untap and play something, but now I have to main phase it, and you know, it just kind of is what it is, I guess. And fair enough. I guess we were dead anyways. Yeah, I think I'm gonna drop at this point. Kind of sad living into this. Losing against Dimir is tough, but I think like Claudio's build playing both Trespasser and Kaito does make this matchup weirdly much better than the Murktide Oculus builds. Kind of brutal. I agree. That's going to be it for me today. I'm going to try to get some more rest and be as healthy as I can on Monday. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go send y'all over to Gab, I think, who defeated us earlier. Is playing a really cool